Okay, so I do record all of the classes in case you're absent. You can go back and watch them. I do stick them in under the day that they occurred. So for example, from our last class, this is week 1. The first day was course introduction, and if you go in here, you will see this is the recording that I did of that class. So you can always look there. It takes about a day or so for it to process and for me to get it up there. But if you do miss a class, you can always watch what we did in class. How's everybody feeling tonight?
Good.
Okay. Semi nods. Yeah, good enough. Good enough.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My attendance, what will that look like since I was not registered for the first class? Because I
Oh,
did watch the
you'll get
recordings.
credit for it. There's
Oh,
actually a weird thing this summer, Michael, that I don't know, because of grant things, attendance isn't being started to count until next week. You
okay.
have to be here or else you get dropped from the class. Like if people aren't here for the first week of class, they get dropped from the system. And like I would say they weren't here, but we're not even starting to count attendance until next week officially. So you're 100%. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. I would love us to go around the room one more time, like we did last week. Just say your name. You don't have to give some whole big long spiel. But just to introduce yourself again so that we can put names and faces again. Again, I'm Colleen. Keep it casual in here. Please feel free to call me Colleen.
Chris Brumholz, here working on my GED.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Dallas.
Yes. Yeah.
My name's Gabe.
Gabe.
Hello, I'm Kaden.
Kaden. Eternity. Dan. Anua. And Paolo. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll get everyone's names learned pretty fast here. All right. Well, tonight we're going to dive into it talking about metacognition and reading strategies. Anybody hear of that term metacognition before?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard it. How about cognition? Anybody familiar with that one?
That's to do with the brain, correct?
Yeah, it's about thinking. It's about how you think. Metacognition is about thinking about how you think, and particularly in reading. So every single time we approach a piece of reading, we are bringing our whole selves to the situation. What you've known, what you've done in the past, what it means to you as you look at what you're reading, right? We're interpreting things through our own lens all the time. So it's pretty valuable as you approach any piece of reading to think about why you're reading it, what you're trying to get out of it, and what it means to you. So let me give you an opportunity to think about a couple different kinds of reading. Now, take a moment and imagine some reading that you do that you actually enjoy. Something that you would pick up to read, whether it be something on your phone or a novel or a magazine, anything. Just imagine yourself reading something that you enjoy. Can you think of something? You don't have to tell me what it is, but can you picture something? Okay.
Current events.
Yeah, current events. Okay. Now think about if you have to read a piece of mail, for example. Think about how you look at it, how much information you get out of that mail, and or different kinds of mail that you get. All right, that's another kind of reading that we do. A third kind would be academic reading, something that you have to do for a class or for your job. Maybe it's not of particular interest to you, but you need to get that information.
Like safety.
That's a great example. Yeah, like a safety data sheet or just like, a textbook, a biology textbook, something that we've really got to get that information from. So we're all operating with different kinds of reading strategies. As we approach those, we automatically have them. How much we want to read, how in depth we want to understand it. Do we just want to gloss over stuff real quick, or do we want to get deep, deep meaning going? And we want to apply those to whatever we're going to read. It's going to help us understand better and know how to spend our time. So today we're going to explore that metacognition, get a little bit more into that. It's just a really important way to approach any kind of reading, and think about what you need to get out of that. We want to be able to describe it and then think about the tools that we use when we are bringing them to different kinds of reading. So here's an image that you can consider thinking about this. Metacognition is a cyclical situation. Whenever and you can start this many places, right? So oftentimes in circular information, we start at the top. And we are going to assess the task. What are we about to read and why? What do we need to know about this? Then we're going to evaluate what are we good at here and what are we not good at. Sometimes what we're not good at, maybe knowing the vocabulary, right? Maybe we're going to approach something that we know is going to have challenging words that we may not understand. Or maybe our weakness in the situation is, I don't even want to know this information. How do I trick myself almost into looking for and getting something out of this reading experience? Then we plan how well we want to read it. What is our strategy? How slowly do we want to go? Do we need to take notes as we read it? Or do we need to read really quickly and just find the one piece of information that we're looking for? Try it out. Did it work? No, I still can't answer the questions that I have. Maybe I've got to go back and read it a different way. So these are things that are already happening for you all the time. And you probably haven't had the need to pull it apart or think about each piece of the puzzle or why you're doing it. But think about that metacognition. It really is understanding your own thought processes, thinking about thinking, or what is underneath what you're trying to do. Here's a little video about it to help us understand a little bit better.
We know that metacognition is vital for learning. It's what happens when we analyze tasks, set up goals, implement strategies, and reflect on what we're learning. But how does metacognition actually work? Well, the authors of How Learning Works describe it as a cycle. It starts with the ability to assess the task at hand. Here, students have a clear picture of what they need to accomplish. And next, they evaluate their own strengths, weaknesses. Afterward, the students plan out their approach. Note that it does not have to be a detailed plan. In some cases, students might visualize what they need to accomplish and how they will get there. Students then take action and apply the strategies and monitor their progress, which leads to the next phase where they reflect on their learning and adjust their approach. Here, they determine new strategies that ultimately lead back to a reassessment of the task. This cycle can happen rapidly or over a long stretch of time. In some cases, it can feel so automatic it almost seems invisible, and yet it is vital for learning. When students have strong metacognition skills, they are more likely to succeed in college, in careers, and in lifelong learning.
Okay. Fantastic. Making sense for people? Any thoughts about that? Well, so now let's think about what are some of the reading strategies that we actually do and use. Okay, I want to remind you too, all the time, it is okay to interrupt me. If you have a question or something to add, it is always okay to interrupt me. Okay, metacognition and reading strategies. Depends on your purpose, right? But we may use skimming, scanning, intensive reading, or extensive reading. For pleasure general knowledge, each approach allows us to engage with a text in a different way. Probably many of us have heard skimming or scanning before. Have you heard that before? What do you think the difference is between skimming and scanning?
Maybe skimming, you are
Oh.
looking for, I think one of them would be looking for reading a couple words, sentence. And the other
Yep,
one would
yep.
just be like scanning and screening it, looking for, just getting a general idea. I don't know.
Yes, so eternity summed up skimming, where you're just looking kind of like through the whole thing to generalize and take away general knowledge. And Michael's talking about scanning too, where you are looking for to answer a specific question. You might be searching just for one particular word and then kind of branch out from there. So thank you, great job. Skimming. You want to grasp that main idea by reading just like the headings. You can get so much from a heading in terms of expectations around what you are about to read, right? We read, pause, think about like, what am I expecting to get out of this? Okay, now I'm into it. Here's a really interesting thing about the way our brains work. So from a point of neurology and memory, like what's going on inside of your brain, you can never learn something new unless you build a bridge from something you already know. That's a really interesting fact, because sometimes if something is really new, we've got to build multiple bridges to get there. Think about that. So every single time you learn something new, you are actually building a bridge from something you already know. That's why it's great to take a moment as you read something new, look at that heading and think about, what do I already know on this topic, so that I am prepared to build that bridge to the next thing. And the bridge could be, oh, this is a bridge I want to tear down and build another path around because my information previously was inappropriate or incorrect. But that's what we're doing. We're starting from something that we know as a launch point every single time. Scanning is that thing that we do a lot of times with mail in particular, right? We open it up like, what's my bill? What's the due date? What is this medical thing asking me to do next? What is this notification about construction on my street? I don't care what the rest of it says. There's a whole bunch of garbage in here. I'm just scanning for the one bit of information that I really need. This is a skill that you're going to want to use on the GED also, because there can be really long reading passages, and if you read the questions first, you kind of know what you're looking for. And sometimes you can just get to that point faster. So you're looking for those keywords or phrases that you have already picked out. You've got to know what you're looking for if you're going to scan for something. Intensive reading. This is a close, detailed analysis. This is when you want to slow down and look at every single word and be thinking about what it means as you go, potentially even taking notes. So this is your academic stuff, things that you are going to be tested on, things that you need for work that are very specific, and you want to make sure you haven't missed a single thing. So we have things in our life that we're reading intensively for. And the GED can be one of those things also, depending on what the question is like. We're going to read and absorb every single word that's in it. Extensive reading, this is what you're doing when you are reading for pleasure. So if you happen to skip over paragraphs that don't seem to interest you, or you spend like an enormous amount of time just imagining or visualizing what's in front of you, that's a really great way to go for extensive reading. That means I don't have to know anything in here. It's really what I want to know and how much time I want to spend with it. Key points here, whenever you are reading something, regardless of the purpose, the best way to do it in terms of memory or enjoyment is being active. And how we become active with our reading is by asking ourselves questions as we read, trying to build those mental bridges in our mind. Taking notes is really great. I know people are super reluctant to take notes, but man, that is a fabulous way to learn because you can look back on it later. Even highlighting key points can help you just get it into your brain in a different way. Anybody have any tricks that they like to use when they're reading if they really have to understand something?
That's what I pretty much do is highlight key points.
You highlight things.
It's just kind of like what sticks out. The
Yeah.
title, what sticks out, and what the main point is.
Yes.
It's
Excellent.
fun.
One really useful way to be active with your reading too, particularly if you are a visual person, is to almost like make a movie in your mind about what you're reading. Particularly when it's boring or not of interest to you, because you are going to engage with it. Like, okay, I can't see that part. I don't understand what it looks like, but I can fill it in, or, you know, make meaning for yourself that way. It helps you from just, I think, I don't know a human alive that isn't guilty of their eyes just going over words and it's going nowhere. Or even reading aloud, right? Sometimes we're focused on pronouncing the words so much that we're not even understanding what's going on. And that's why people read things more than once. You've read it aloud, you're like, oof, that didn't even make sense. Let me try it one more time. Because those are different skills. Saying it out loud, you hear it one way, but then when you're quiet, you think of it a different way. So those are some really good skills. If you are struggling to understand something reading, do it aloud, do it quiet, make pictures in your mind. It's going to help kind of bring it together. So always consider your specific goal, because a lot of times time is of the essence, right? We don't have to read every single thing we come across. We want to use our reading in ways that are useful to us. And keep a note that flexibility, you can do different things within a document. Like, for example, mail, I do this all the time. Garbage, garbage, garbage page. Oh, here's the one I need. Let me focus. And now I'm going to scan for what I'm looking for. So combine them. It totally works to combine them. Any questions about that?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, Michael.
So I was thinking when you're reading intensive and extensive, memorizing would be part of intensive, I believe. But wouldn't it also
Mhm.
fall under extensive reading?
It depends. Like, if you're reading because you need to memorize something, it's probably not going to be extensive. Extensive is like your enjoyment where you can skip over whatever you want to and focus on the things that you want to.
I
If
see.
there's something that you need to memorize, that is going to be intensive. And I'll give you one of the memorization tricks that I had for myself when I really had to memorize a lot of stuff, is to tape it up beside my bed. So it was the last thing I saw before I went to sleep. Those words, all of that just starts working in your mind overnight and finding their way to a place. I think it really helped me. Lots of people have lots of techniques, flashcards for themselves, etc. But if you
Yeah,
have something to memorize, it's good to
I
sleep
used
on it.
flashcards.
You like flashcards?
Yeah, I like flashcards.
Nice. Yeah, they're really good. The act of making them is half of the learning, right? And then reviewing them is the other half. So flashcards are really good for, particularly for vocabulary or concepts that you've got to get. So think about these things for a minute. We're going to talk about these questions. Why and when do you read now? What are you most often reading? What are some of your purposes for reading? Which purposes for you are the most challenging and why? And what are the least challenging? And when you read, what do you do? Like, do you have a specific place that you like? If you have something longer to read, is there somewhere that you like to read? And when you get stuck, what happens? What strategies do you have that help you get unstuck? So just think about that for a couple minutes, and then we'll take them one at a time. Okay, how about that first one? Anyone want to volunteer? Why and when are you reading right now? Like, what in your life are you reading? Yeah. Social media. Okay, awesome. Eternities, reading some social media. Oh yeah, Google News. Okay, good. Yeah. What else? What other things are people reading right now? Yeah, Dan.
Me and my friends like to exchange sources. short stories. We both write and
Oh,
read them. We tend
nice.
to edit each other's.
Oh, how nice. Yeah, fantastic. You're going to be a great asset to this class as we look at each other's stuff and do some editing. Thanks. That's cool. Any particular kind of theme in your short stories, like between you or?
It depends on what the prompts. How we like to do prompts.
Oh, prompts. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Hey, Angel. What else? What else are people reading right now?
I like to look like ancient documents and stuff like that, and trying to figure out exactly what it's all saying and things like that.
Oh, what kind of ancient documents?
So just like old Bible scriptures, things like that.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've looked into like a lot of the readings on like the Dead Sea Scrolls and.
Oh, cool. Okay. So analysis,
Yeah.
some deep analysis.
Yeah,
there.
pretty much deep analysis, trying to figure out, why they said what they said and did what they did and
Uh-huh.
how it was used and.
Yeah.
And
And the historical context for it all.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Cool. Anybody else doing some reading? Yeah.
So,
Self-improvement.
and to educate myself on different diets that are out there.
Oh, yeah. There's so much to read about that because like the science about nutrition and digestion and all of this is just like ever evolving. Yeah. So yeah, good information to have. Cool. Okay. How about what reading do you do that is the most challenging for you? Yeah.
Probably the reading that I'm learning.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Michael,
son.
1 second. 1 second,
Okay.
Michael. Eternity was in motion with her answer. The word that we do in here. The CASAS test. What about that was what about the reading that we do in here and the CASAS test is the challenge for you? Do you know?
It's just getting
Longer words, yes. In your head, yeah. That's a really good point. I think a lot of us, whenever we come across a word that we either don't know exactly what it means or we don't know how to pronounce it, sometimes it just pulls you right out of what you're reading and you just kind of like you are stuck. You sit there and you're stuck. It's one of the things that we're going to work on next week in here is just helping get a little bit of sense around context clues. So how do we use the rest of the words to try to guess and make meaning out of the words that we don't know? The GED in particular loves to give you words that they know you have never come across for the purpose of like, can you use your context clues to make meaning? So they will always find like the newest, strangest scientific something that like nobody knows, but that one scientist that worked on it just to see if it trips you or not. If you can go, okay, I don't know how to say it. I don't know exactly what it is, but I kind of have enough idea that I can move on.
You have to pick out what's around it
Mhm.
to formulate what it's trying to say.
Absolutely. And I had a student in here tell me that they found that they used to really get stuck on words like that they didn't know, and it would just really pull them out and stop them from reading. And they realized that if they just keep reading, it may come back to it. Like it may circle back around and they may understand it more than if they just stop. Of course, if we have tools available to us, we can look it up. That's awesome. But often we don't. Yes, Michael, what are the things that are challenging for you in reading?
I was actually going to say the same thing. The cost of testing and
CASAS
reading
test.
in this class will probably be a little bit challenging because I'm trying to take it all in and get the main idea of what I'm reading.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody feel a little panicky if they read something that they don't understand?
Depending on what it's for.
Yeah, I can too. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, I don't get it and I don't care, but like, I have to get this and it can really cause some anxiety. And so, hopefully we'll work on that a bit in here too, of just like kind of keep going. You don't have to understand everything to still get the main idea or what they're trying to express. Sometimes there's just going to be a couple little holes That's true for all of us throughout our lives, all the time. A lot of times I have people in my class that love cars, for example, and they have so much car knowledge. I don't understand a darn thing about car except go stop. So, like, if I hear anything about it, it's like a wall goes up inside of me where it's like, this is so much I don't even want to know. But sometimes we have to keep going. Like, there are some things you can't choose to ignore.
Say a good example would be legal documentation.
Legal,
because
yes,
they
that's
use a different language.
absolutely good
legal
example.
documents. Or even in like different certification classes, they use
Yeah.
different language, like may and shall and. it's like,
Yes.
oh, yeah, what, oh, I may or I shall exist, you shall do it.
Yeah.
So.
Those are really good examples because both with legal or some kind of certification type things, like you need to know, right? You like, you can't, it's not really an option to go, I don't care. Like, you're gonna have to get to the bottom of it. Yeah. So that's challenging. What's easy for people? What's the easy read?
Nonfiction right out of the library.
Nonfiction. You like nonfiction. Okay. Yeah. How about you? Anyone? Comics? Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
Would it be
Yeah.
something you really have to like be into in order to read it? Because even if
Right.
you don't know it, you're gonna want more.
Don't we all love to read things that we know a lot about already? Yeah, yeah. It's just like it reinforces the things you know. You can place yourself in it. It's easy. It's just like, yeah, I like this topic. Of course, I'm going to read more. Yeah, so that's not challenging for us. How about, have you ever thought about, or can you identify times when you have applied these different strategies to what you're reading?
You can find probably all the time whenever we read something.
Yeah, probably we're applying them all the time and just have never thought about the breakdown, or it's almost like gear shifting, just like I'm reading this way.
Saying it's visible.
Yeah, it's really invisible. Yeah, it's really invisible. So here's the hardest question. So if you are reading something in this class that's difficult, or you're reading something on the CASAS test that's too difficult and you feel stuck, what do you do right now to get unstuck?
Ask questions if it's available.
Yeah, what if it's not? What are we doing to keep going?
Move on.
Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Move on. Yeah, I do that too. If I'm so spun up and like this sentence doesn't even make sense to me, I can't work it out. I tried. Moving on to the next one. Maybe later it will make sense.
All about time.
It is about timing. Yeah. And sometimes it's about such timing that we could read something one day, it really doesn't make sense. 2 days later, pick it up again, and it's like, it's clicking now. Could be how tired you are. Could be just that it's had time for some of those words to find their way into your brain. There is really a delay in learning, right? We've got to lay down tracks inside your mind. So excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at 3 very different kinds of reading to see if we can apply some of those strategies, or think about the kind of thing that we're applying. Awesome. I will know that a Hello Kitty sticker is from you. Okay. So Michael, I don't know if you haven't done this before, this is what I recommend for anybody doing Zoom, is to both have my screen and then to open this up open up your D2L and
Okay.
click on these articles yourself, because I'm not going to be moving through it at the same pace that you want to move through it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna split my screen. I've done it before, but I gotta figure it out.
Yeah, okay. So if you are up here, this is good for everybody. If you've got Zoom open, but to get to Zoom, you opened up a tab in this course. If you go to that tab and do a right click on it, or if you have that ability to do like a right click and duplicate the tab, then you can have it open twice. Is that making sense?
I think so. I'll figure it
Okay.
out.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and think about, apply the strategies, think about the title, read through it, and then we will discuss. Pay special attention to words that you're unfamiliar with. How are we doing? Finishing up or need a few more minutes? Okay. All right, let's talk about this. The title, This Fabric Means History, and then there's another subtitle, Bright and Cold Kente Cloth Designs are Proud Expressions of African Heritage. So something that is great to note, and we'll get into more next week. If you happen to see a title that is very long and in fact a whole sentence, it's a pretty good clue that that is your main idea that is going to encompass all the things of that article. So always pay very close attention to titles, headings. This also has some subheadings. What are the subheadings in here?
The royal. The right and the wrong.
Yeah, royal roots and a right and a wrong time. So it is focusing on a couple particular aspects of the kente cloth that it decided to pull out and highlight for us. So now, before we really get into the reading and the details of what it said, anybody seen kente cloth before? Mm-hmm. Yep. So many of us have some reference for it. Where have you seen it? All over. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like they said, it has some.
Old rap videos, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In the 80s, it was particularly popular for sure. It's you can see it at graduation a lot. Different people, whenever they're dressing up, right, have particularly African student union stuff. They often have kente cloth as this is my celebration wear. So what did it say? Where does this come from specifically? From Ghana. Yeah. So West Africa, Ghana, and it is particular to Asante people. But there's a lot of Americans that wear kente cloth too. And I don't know whether they're specifically from Ghana, but that is the roots of this cloth. Very challenging to make, right? It talks about how labor intensive it is to make this and how it is used in royal ceremonies. So they brought out the first time it was encountered in 1958, and that it's really celebrating the independence of Ghana as well.
So I'm African American and I'm full-blooded Nigerian.
Uh-huh.
My mom has some cloth just like that. I think it's the same stuff of what it describes.
So
It's
Nigerian as
interesting.
well.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't know, do you know if there's particular patterns that are particular
There,
to?
yeah, I think there is. I think there is.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
But she said it's pretty expensive for the cloth. Not compared to us, but over there.
Can you say that again, Michael? I didn't hear the last part.
She said it's pretty expensive to buy.
It's expensive. Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, that makes sense. It's really thick, looks really thick and really, yeah, for sure. Mhm. So let me ask you, what words in here were you not familiar with? Anything stand out or trip you up?
The name of the prime minister.
The name of the prime minister? Okay, yeah, that's pretty tough. Yeah, what do you do whenever you see words like the name of someone specifically? Yeah, it's like a whole word picture, right? We could try to pronounce the syllables and stuff. We may not be correct, but just go, okay, it's that prime minister. And if you don't have somebody to ask, then you just kind of like take a picture of that word in your mind and go, okay, that's what that represents.
Yeah, I just took a couple seconds and sounded it out.
Yeah. See if you can sound it out. Mhm.
Or also look at the last name and see if you can kind of find out where the name originates from, then you can pronounce it better.
Yeah, do you know how to pronounce this name?
Where is it? I gotta find it.
Yeah, I can't even find it. It's this prime minister.
No, Kwame?
Kwame? Uh-huh.
Kwame, probably. Nkrumah. I don't think the K is pronounced.
Nkrumah. Yeah, I've met people named Kwame before. I've definitely heard that name out loud, so I think that's probably a good, pronunciation of that. I don't know about the last name.
I've never
Nkrumah.
heard the last name before.
Yeah. Okay, good. What besides the name, any other words that people haven't really come across before? Yeah, Angel.
Maybe I have that. Remember that when it says women dress 8 hues of yellows, does it mean like in different yellows?
Yes. So hue, that's a great question. Hue is just another word for different colors. Yeah. So it doesn't mean just yellows, it's just hues, or it's just really another word for colors. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Like which hue of blue are we talking about? Yeah. Yeah, good. Good. What else? I'll bring up some that students have brought up in the past that they weren't sure about. Boasts. In the third paragraph down, it says Kente also boasts a history linked to West African folklore and master craftsmanship. Anybody know what boasts is?
They are not, but talking about loudly or talking about like you're proud of it, being
Yes.
prideful in
Yes.
a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Good. How about folklore?
Folk traditions. Things that are been written from past, legacies, things like that.
Yeah.
Been written.
So you bring up writing, but often folklore is something that was passed down orally. And so then it sometimes it isn't written
Right.
and or it becomes finally written
Yes.
rather than saying it over and over. So
Oral.
oral traditions, absolutely. So a lot of values of a culture are portrayed through folklore. So we can see that you will really find out like what's important to people through their folklore. Okay, on the backside, how about the word intricate? Yeah. Oh, very detailed for sure. Good. Anyone hear of this? The web's creator, West African legend says, was none other than Anansi, the spider, trickster spider. That's part of the folklore. Anybody hear of Anansi before? Yeah, a little bit. What did you hear it in school or where did you hear about Anansi? On social media? Yeah. In Monster High? Oh, Monster High, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Anansi is a big storytelling character in African folklore and known, and that's spiders have cross-cultural kind of significance in their ability to weave. So that has been, you know, like a lot of different cultures, a lot of times people focus on that spider for the cloth making abilities. Great.
The silk.
Yeah, silk, yeah. Well, it's different than silkworms, but but spider silk is very strong. We don't use it for our own fabric making the way that silkworms are, but yeah, it's interesting. It is just amazing what they can do. How about closer to the end, we've got in the 1970s, the dashiki, a tunic length garment. What's a tunic length garment? Yeah, you know, Anua? Fabric, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So tunic is also a pretty cross-cultural term. It's like a shirt that's extra long. So people wear tunics for a lot of different reasons. If you think of dressed up West Africans, you might get an image in your mind of just that longer shirt over pants.
What's the difference of tunic versus garment?
Can you say that again,
What's
Angel?
the difference of that versus garment?
Yes, so a garment is any piece of clothing. Garment's any piece of clothing. So they were describing, the tunic is describing what kind of garment it is. Yeah, great question. Okay, so if you had to read this, what do you think the purpose was? What do you think if you got this for a reading, what are you trying to get out of this?
Well, I think what it's trying to tell is the history of.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's giving us the history. That's kind of the title is Fabric Means History. So it's giving us an example of why this is historical. So this would be an example of reading for information. Right? Yeah, say that again.
African heritage.
African heritage. So we're going to learn a little something about a particular African heritage tradition. Yes. So reading for information. Now we're going to try something a little different. I know your feelings on this already.
I actually went back and watched it again
Did you
just
really?
to make sure that I wasn't like
Yeah.
I don't know, just not paying attention or something. No, it's just that bad.
You still didn't like it?
It's
I
just
still
that
haven't
bad.
seen it myself, but I intend to. That black kitty looks so cute. Okay, so Michael, sorry, we are doing the next one in here, review of Flow.
I got it.
Okay, awesome, thank
I
you.
found the split screen, so
You figured out how to, awesome.
I found a way.
You found a way. You found your own method. Okay. All right, what's Flow about? What is this reading for?
Kitty.
It's about a kitty, yeah?
Well, what I got from it is it's someone else's outlook on a movie. It's what they saw. I mean, it's another informational type like reading, but it's not like facts. It's more of
Yeah.
what they saw.
Absolutely. This is someone's opinion about a particular film. This is something called persuasive writing. So this person's trying to convince us that it's a great movie and worth seeing. Any review that you ever read, whether it's a restaurant, a TV show, a movie, anything like that, is always going to be persuasive. If someone's giving you their opinion and hoping that you'll come along with it. Okay? So in this case, the title, Flow Movie Review, gave us a lot of information right there. We know what it is. Cat uses up almost all 9 lives in the wonderful animated adventure. Okay, before we even read the rest of it, what do we know from that title?
That they used up almost 9 lives.
Yeah, how do you think they used them up? What was happening?
Struggling.
Yeah.
Some kind of struggle. Yeah, some bad stuff went down. So maybe it has some high, high danger, high antics in this. What do you say, Eternity? Was there high danger for this cat?
I mean, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody else see this movie?
No, but cats don't like water.
Yeah. Yeah, but cats don't like water. Yeah. I think this movie is interesting to me, having never seen it, but it's interesting to me because I know somebody made it on like the lowest free software that you could possibly buy, and it won an Oscar. So just kind of fun to know, like sometimes you don't have to have $1 million to make a good movie. So that got my attention. So we know who wrote it. He's a film critic. Maybe we want to put some emphasis on the fact that they're a film critic. Maybe they have a better opinion about films than the average person. Maybe not. Maybe we've read their review before and we're like, I don't like their version of what's going on. It all depends. So let me ask you all, is this a movie that you, based on this review, that you would want to go see? You'd still see it, even with Eternity's bad review.
See Edgar walking.
Yeah.
I would probably see just take a look at it because of the fact of it's somebody else's impression of the flood.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, this is they say it right there in the words too. It's the story of the great flood without Noah. It's just replaced Noah for a cat basically, and then it brings in all the animals. So it's the animals' outlook.
It's an animal's outlook on a flood.
on
Yeah.
The great
Yeah.
flood.
Yeah,
is
that's
how I
fun.
interpret it.
Yep. How about, what does this mean? Dialogue free?
No talking.
No talking. Dialogue is how we capture exactly what people said. So if I was to talk about later what happened in this class and what you all said, like I would be generalizing. But if I want to capture exactly what you said, put the quotes around it, now it's dialogue. Okay. The rest is narrative. It's like my version of what happened. Dialogue is exactly what people are saying. So when we're reading something like a play, it's all dialogue. It's just dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. That's all there is in there. Excellent.
Would
Okay.
dialogue free basically be like a line?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is animals that don't speak words. They haven't, represented them as little, English speaking, whatever. They're just doing their thing silently as animals. It doesn't mean that there isn't music or other sounds in this, but there's no full talking. How about these animals? Do we know what a lemur is?
Yeah.
Anybody? Yeah.
King Julian.
Yeah, King Julian. Yeah. Okay, let's pull up a lemur picture just to be sure. They are pretty cute.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
Very cool. And the other one was capybara. Has anybody seen a capybara before? They're like a giant rodent. They seem really cute though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
Oh.
beaver nature.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Dude, the song Nutrient.
Did you really?
It was really weird. I didn't know what the word until someone ran away from it screaming, "Oh my god, it's a nutrient!" It's like I was super scared turning the corner and then I saw it. It was kind of cute.
Yeah, they are kind of cute, but they can catch you off guard because they're so big.
Yeah.
I didn't know they existed when I moved here to Oregon and I was out on a walk and by water and one just came like swimming up and I'm like, what the heck? You got giant rodents here. But they're really friendly and they're really friendly with other animals too. So nothing to be concerned about. They look very cute there now, but it did look threatening when it was in the water. Let's see, any other, here's a good word. How about hypnotic?
To capture your mind.
Yeah. What's
Drawing.
some other words
Good.
that's related to hypnotic? Anybody know?
Hypnotize?
Hypnotize, hypnosis, hypnotize. So yes, you are like kind of just
So
caught up in
drawing you
it.
into it.
Your mind is you get into a different state, like a
Can't stop watching
different
it.
flow yourself
Yeah.
of just like mental flow.
Kids.
Hypnotic, yeah.
Kind of
Good one.
brainwash. Brainwash
Absolutely.
the children.
Yeah. Here's another one that people don't always know. How about peril?
And it's like a danger, like a.
Yeah,
right,
it's like danger. It's like
my
danger,
life's in
yeah.
peril.
Mm-hmm.
It's-
Yep. Excellent. All right, so that's an example of persuasive writing. These are all like some introductions because we are going to break down and in the weeks to come focus on each one of these, how to write that way and what we're doing. But I've got another one for you. Oh, but let's take a break. It is A couple minutes to 7. We're gonna take a 15-minute break, so please come back at 7:15. 7:15.
Just trying to hug you stairs on my phone.
All right. Got one more reading to compare.
So the first reading, what type of writing is it? Cause I wrote down the second one, which was a persuasive reading, right?
So the first one was, yes, it would be considered intensive and informational.
Intensive.
Intensive, that first one would be considered intensive, where you're trying to get all of those words and information. The second one would be considered persuasive writing, and it really depends how you want to read it, which strategy you employ. Probably extensive. Where it doesn't really matter that much if you have. Oh, hold on a second, just ran out of. I'm so excited, everybody's on the class, but it's leaving me without. Paper, because I didn't make enough copies. You know what? Give me 1 second. I need to go make a couple more copies of this. I'll be right back. You did get one. Okay, The People Upstairs, by Ogden Nash. This is a famous American poet. What do you think of when you just read the title People Upstairs? Any thoughts? Yeah, thinking of an apartment. Do you think, if you describe the people upstairs, do you expect it to be a positive or a negative situation?
Neutral.
Yeah, maybe neutral, maybe negative, maybe positive, but yeah, if it was positive, maybe we might expect them to name them or say like, oh, the wonderful family that lives upstairs, you know? You just say the people that live upstairs, maybe.
It's not the people under the stairs.
Yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right. Yeah, anybody that's had apartment living can put that into perspective of like, okay, we're gonna hear some people walking around above us. How do we feel about that?
Made me feel bad for my neighbor.
Yeah.
My kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kids will really do a number on the acoustics. So what do you think? How's this person feel about the people upstairs?
Not thinking.
Yeah, why not?
They're always doing something up there,
Yeah,
something up.
yeah. Does he have specific gripes with them?
Yeah, it sounds like for almost every room.
For almost every room.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's definitely some sound issues. What else?
I mean, he doesn't,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
doesn't really hate them, because if only they lived on the upper floor, he would love them a little more.
Absolutely. I might love the people upstairs. It sounds like he doesn't really know them. This is just based on what he hears. It's not personal at all. It's just that's where the sounds are coming from. I don't know about them, but it's loud. And then also, yeah, the water is leaking through the ceilings. Pretty frustrating. How do we approach poems differently than other things that you have read? Yeah, yes.
Trying to interpret like the meaning
Yeah.
or what the author's mean, what he's trying to get people to interpret with what he's writing.
Absolutely, yes. So poetry is so much more about feeling and interpretation. And so what does that mean for the specific word choices?
Maybe it could be like over exaggerated or I don't know,
Absolutely.
for it to be more interesting to read.
Yes. Do you think you have to put in a little bit more time or less time to read poetry?
Probably
More.
more.
It really depends, right? If it's something that just like, I would use the word resonate, if it's something that feels familiar to you or the kind of language you use, it might be real quick to read. And if it isn't, and they are trying to describe feelings that you don't necessarily have, it can take you a lot longer to think about, what does that really mean? What does that stand for? Yeah, Angel.
What's the name of this
The name of the author?
writing?
Oh, the writing, this is a poem, so how you read it depends. There were no questions asked of it, so you're not necessarily skimming. I would probably stick it as intensive reading, because you are reading that all carefully to interpret something. You don't have to memorize the stuff in there generally for poetry, but sometimes people are looking to memorize poems, so they could recite them or know them later, so probably more intensive reading than other things. But yes, we are looking, this is something that you will do in a GED exam also. Sometimes the words are representing things that are not literal, right? So they might be talking about some like flowers, but they're talking about your youth. Or so sometimes we really have to dig deep and figure out like, oh, what is this similar to? What feeling are they trying to express? Yeah, excellent. Any words in here that tripped you up? Anything stand out? Say that again? Abates? Yeah, okay. Where is that one?
Abates.
Fourth, bottom row.
Fourth from the bottom?
Uh-huh.
Abates, yes, and when they're fun at last abates. Can anybody make a guess based on that, what abates might mean?
Like subside, like.
Calm. Calm
Yeah,
down.
like subsides, yeah, it's like when it ends. So how we would do that, like, and when their fun at last abates, they go and go to the bathroom on roller skates. It seems like, that's tough, that's a tough context to get here, because we don't know if he's talking about abates does mean end or subside or lessen, but his next sentence doesn't sound necessarily like lessening, because it sounds like they're doing more of the same stuff. So that's a tricky one, but yes, abates is to either stop or lessen dramatically. So like people would use it in pain. When's your pain going to abate? You know, then that's like, okay, it's stopped, that thing stopped. Great call. Thank you for helping me find it. Consistently, when someone says, yeah, what about this word? It takes me forever to find that word. I don't know why. I'm a terrible scanner. So have patience, please. Not great at it. All right, so few different thoughts about different kinds of writing that we're going to do in here. This is the assignment for today. Move right into the assignment. What I am asking of you, and I'd like to show you kind of all the assignment before we get into it, is identify a phrase or sentence that has meaning to you. What is meaningful to you? So we're looking at your kind of metacognition. What's something that you could pull from your own past that would let me know something about you? This can come from a song lyric, a poem, a book, a movie. I've got to say, I've learned tons of great things about students by asking this before when they share K-pop videos or, you know, like their favorite show or this thing that they did with their mom. It's just fun to see the themes, and I really learn a lot about you. That's what I'm really trying to get out of this assignment, not only to learn about you, but to see how you write. So it gives me an idea of kind of where everybody's at and what we are going to work on in here, what things I might need to bring up that I don't currently have in the curriculum. Yeah, does it remind you of a particular person, that word or phrase, that song, that TV show, whatever it is, a certain time, a particular belief or value? Any of those things. Tell me about something that just like recurs for you, like, oh man, every time I hear the song, I think about my friends, whatever. You do not need to take this writing too seriously. I'm looking for a paragraph that just tells me what it is, explains it. If you're doing it through the computer, please feel free to stick in a video if you want to, stick in something, some reference. You absolutely don't have to, but that can be fun too. So if you're doing it on the computer in a Google Doc, save it, upload it, submit it. I'm looking for like 2 paragraphs, like around 200 words. That's not a lot. It's like maybe 8 to 10 sentences, if that gives you a reference. The 5 points are for completion. I'm going to open up the how things are graded. So you can always see it's only 5 points. But I break down like, what exactly am I giving you those points for? You can always resubmit assignments. Just know that too. In this case, all I'm looking for is that you actually gave me a specific sample example of what it is that you care about, that you explained it a little bit, and that you meet the specific requirement. So 2 to 3 paragraphs, about 200 words. And then just looking at sentence structure, if you're using complete sentences, we're aiming for that. I'm not a hard grader. If people are putting the effort out there, you're gonna get it. Here's my example. The other thing I like to do every time I have an assignment when I can is to give you an example. So this is my thing that I love. This sentence is taken from a movie. This is Spinal Tap. The sentence is, these go to 11. I'm going to show you this quick.
This is a topic we want to use on standards. Very special because if you can see, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board, 11, 11, most 11, now go up to 10. Exactly. Does that mean it's louder? Is that any louder? Well, it's one louder, isn't it? It's not 10. You see, most guys are going to be playing 10. You're on 10 here, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. You're on 10 on your guitar. Where can you go from there? Where? I don't know where. Exactly. What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do? Put it up to 11. Exactly. One louder. Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder? These guys are 11.
Thank you. That is my favorite movie. It's 40 years old now. And
That was great.
It is. It's the 40th anniversary, and they're re-putting it in theaters in like a week. So this is Spinal Tap, if you want to see the whole thing. It's the origination of what's called mockumentary, so doing something documentary style, but it's not real. They're all actors. And super funny. Every single moment of that movie is funny. Anyway, I brought this up because this phrase connects me to a particular time, to friends, and to family. It makes me laugh regardless how many times I've seen it. I am a lifelong lover of comedy, and as soon as I was old enough to stay awake till 11:30, I started watching Saturday Night Live. Cast members of Saturday Night Live in 1984, when I started watching it, included two of the people who were in this movie. And they created Spinal Tap. It is a pretend documentary or a mockumentary poking fun at heavy metal bands. When you like something, you seek it out more, and I was not disappointed with Spinal Tap. That short phrase, "these go to 11," brings me back to my teen years. It's a time when you're most excited about whatever it is you're excited about. And it reminds me of my best friend who shared that love of my film and comedy in general. She named her cat after that character that says "these go to 11." His name is Nigel Tufnell. And my son recently, who also appreciates comedy, watched this movie with me. I was so delighted when he fell off the couch with laughter. It's a rare pleasure to have things in common with with your children, and I felt a circle of joy complete, 100%. So that's just a little example of like, here's a phrase, here's where I like it, here's how it's impacted my life. You can see, not a super serious topic. Please feel free to make it a serious topic if you have one and that's the one that you want. Sometimes people do. Sometimes they do lighthearted stuff. But that is the assignment. So I'm going to hand out these papers that just explain it some more. You can, if you want to write it out right now, write it on the back. If you want to go home and write this and submit it on your computer, you can do that too. Right. I'm here for the duration, but this is the last thing you need to work tonight. Right. Also turn it in on any piece of paper you want. Certainly does not need to be that. You have something sassy you want to write about?
She was in my board.
I am not easily offended.
But boy, not even like that.
Okay.
You gotta figure out that I was sort of mine on one.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Okay.
You gotta do.
How are you doing with this, Michael? Any questions?
No, is class over?
Yeah, that's if you can work on the assignment together and we can talk about it, but if people wanted to leave and do the assignment on their own, then they may.
I think I'll do it in a little bit, but I guess that's it. All right.
Yeah, some classes are short, some ones, like the next class I know is particularly long. So, you know, just kind of differs. I'm not here to like keep people in this room for a particular period of time. If we've covered it,
okay.
we've covered it.
I thought it was gonna last till 8:50 or something, so I was just thinking.
Yeah, say
Yeah.
that again.
I thought it was gonna last till 8:50.
Oh yeah, the class goes till 8:50 at the latest, but that is because this class is like you're not supposed to take home any homework. You don't have to. Like, so
Oh,
if it
okay.
takes you till 8:50 to finish this assignment, that's the idea, that you can get the assignment within the class time.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just do it on my own.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
See ya. It's due on Sunday. So you can either do it tonight with me here, or you can turn it in online by Sunday.
Can we do it on Google Docs, download it and then fetch it as a file?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.